the area to improve the drainage.
I am indeed very excited today for what Mr. Ezekiel Joseph has done for this community, for the school, the Lage Preschool, namely. I'm very grateful, and I can say a proud thank you to him for what he has done for the kids, especially in this community, Lage community.
My MP said that we would have a new wellness center. Here we are. It's almost finished.
My community said we needed a new wing to our secondary school. And my MP said yes.
My sister said she needed help to find a job, so my MP created a job fair.
Our athlete said we needed better sporting facilities.
A new early childhood development center.
My neighbors said.
My sister said.
The children said.
Community said.
Roads and a new park. And my MP said.
Yes.
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 Of course.
Nous tous, c'est yon famille en mi coup de nord. And nous continuons pour faire progrès avec Antigale.
We are here in Talvan on that new project, in which I am so happy about it. Although it's the first time I came here, but it looks beautiful and it's very vital for Babuno. I see that Babuno and Talvan elevated to a higher level, and we are so happy about it. And the people of Talvan should be happy also, and also Babuno and environs, because it is a project which is very vital, very important, that people who do not have a house yet can buy a spot at a reasonable price and can build a house and have their own. And I think that's the best thing for a young man or young woman or a family to have today, to have their own.
As a young resident of the Gara-Wezina community, I would like to thank Honorable Ezekiel Joseph for the work that he has done, such as the implementation of social programs, the improvement in water, and the rehabilitation of the Wezina playing field.
What separates us is our ability to recognize your needs and to work towards addressing them. Providing opportunities, dreaming big, and delivering bigger. What separates us is passionate representation, meticulous guarding of our social and economic indicators, and working with and for you during the most trying time in recorded history. What separates us is a cabinet guided by God for the protection, progress, and prosperity of our St. Lucia. The United Workers' Party. Let's keep working.
Hello everyone, I'm Norbert Williams, right here on Sky FM 93.1. Join me Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. for the morning edition of Keeping It Real. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, Minerva Ward joining me from Canada, right near the North Pole. Although it's cold over there, it's gonna be hot in here. Don't you forget, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. on GVD TV and streaming live on Facebook. Don't you miss it. #21, and we already have our first caller. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hello?
Good morning, you're on the air. Don't play. It's too early. Get this going here. It's too early in the morning. Good morning, folks. How was your weekend? Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Mr. Norbert.
Morning, sir. How are you?
I can't help but call you early this morning because
I wonder why.
It's really appalling what we saw over the weekend. And I really want to say I am realizing now that all of this is based on a comment from Dr. Kennedy Anthony. That they'll fight you in the streets, they'll fight you in the courts, they'll fight you anywhere. And this is so sad because I really believe that, regrettably, St. Lucians have to really take stock of what the present St. Lucia Labour Party is made up of today. I saw a particular lady dressed up in a multitude of colors in a skirt, including a red top, referring to Mr. Prudent as a traitor. I wonder what she would say. She has no problem when Dr. Vaughan Lewis was a leader of the United Workers' Party, Prime Minister under the United Workers' Party, has now joined the ranks of the St. Lucia Labour Party and is a backbencher as far as I'm concerned.
A backbench, behind the bench.
Well, yeah, but it is so sad to think, because if the United Workers' Party members were to go out on the streets and go to the homes of Philip J. Pierre and the rest of them, it would be chaos in St. Lucia. And I want to congratulate our United Workers' Party members. Be calm. Where we will fight them is in the ballot box.
That's right.
Where we have to fight the St. Lucia Labour Party is in the ballot box. And this is hurting St. Lucia. This is hurting St. Lucia for our children and our children's children. When people of the St. Lucia Labour Party, people like Christopher Hunt and the others go out and do that thing and show the world what they're made up of, tomorrow St. Lucia wouldn't be a place comfortable for anybody to live. And I'm taking this thing seriously. It must be taken seriously by all serious-minded St. Lucians, whether you live here or whether you live overseas. We cannot allow St. Lucia to go down this way. And the sad thing about it, the St. Lucia Labour Party leaders will not come out.
They will be silent
and denounce that kind of behavior.
Tacit approval. Well, let me tell you something. If you want to talk about the leaders, yesterday in Grosley, Kenson Kazemi was.
Yes, I was going to him. I was going to him, Mr. Norbert, because as a young potential politician,
and a lot of people had hoped that he was the youth. He would reflect some sort of change.
He's a disgrace. He is a disgrace. And you know, this is really taking this thing a little too far. And the leader of the party have to come out and apologize for this and try to curtail his membership.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I know that. But I hope my prediction is right, that this man can never be a prime minister of St. Lucia. I hope my prediction, I've said that years ago. He's a Robert Stanfield. You know, Robert Stanfield is an opposition leader who never gave Trudeau, Pierre Trudeau, credit. And I'll go down saying that. It is sad what is happening in St. Lucia now. And all of those people who are overseas, would you like, Philip J. Pierre, would you like somebody to come and knock outside your house? All the supporters of the party, would you like Mr. Julian Hunt, if you're listening, would you like people to come outside your door at your age and make noise?
But caller, well, Mr. Ellis, that's all SLP politics, and those of us who were around back then in the 70s and the early 80s know that behavior. This is just desperation. And now, instead of policies, instead of telling the people of St. Lucia what they can really do, not just saying, but convincing the people of St. Lucia how they're going to implement what they say they're going to do. In the absence of being able to do that, the only thing left right now is to behave in this despicable manner.
So from the mouth of a leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, it will be the SLP versus the Chasnays. They will fight you on the street. That's what they want. They want confrontation. And I am one that said yesterday that the police should arrest all of them. But I have to retract that, because I think I would like to tell our UWP listeners, supporters, serious-minded St. Lucians, to show the Labour Party where we will fight them. We will not go in front of their homes. We will fight them in the ballot box. And then we leave the rest to the Commissioner of Police and the rest of the police force. Because this is nonsense. And I'm really, really passionately sorry that St. Lucia has got down to this. And Mr. Philip J. Pierre should be ashamed of himself allowing this promotion to come without an apology to the nation and the nationals of St. Lucia.
Let him call
the country that he loves so much.
Mr. Ellis, let me tell you something. I don't think anyone, I certainly am not, and I don't think you are, is surprised at what has transpired and what has led steadily to that. And I will say it again. The desperation of the Labour Party, the desire to rule St. Lucia, to control St. Lucia at any cost. The constant talk about take our country back.
Yes.
And the foolishness, the attitude that if they're not in office, that if they don't control the reins of power, nobody else can. And that they will burn down, and understand my English very well, that they will burn down St. Lucia, they will destroy St. Lucia to rule over the ashes.
And Mr. Norbert, from now until the elections day, I'm going to be on this case, because you know why? It's about time UWPs come out, regardless of what your grievances are. You have to come out and say that this is not right, and you will deal with the SLP in the ballot box, because today is somebody else, today is the Prime Minister, tomorrow it might just be you. It might just be in front of your house. So come out and deal with the SLP in front at the ballot box and not on the streets. Leave them alone. Let them shout. Let them cackle. Let them do all what they want. Jump with their red and and their whites, and they'll even go yellow sometimes. But deal with them in the ballot box and show Philip J. Pierre, Kenny Anthony, and the rest of them, whatever they do, the country belongs to everybody, and they cannot be allowed to go in front of people's homes. Everybody have a right to change their mind. Mr. Prudent had a right to change, just like Vaughan Lewis.
Yes.
Just like Dr. Vaughan Lewis and several others.
Just like Lon
have left
Theophilus.
the UWP and gone to the Labour Party.
Just like Lon Theophilus.
Right.
And just like everybody else.
Yes. So they cannot be allowed to do that and create that for the world to see. This is nonsense. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ellis. And you know what, folks? I'm going to put the phone off the hook for the time being, because Mr. Ellis jumped me this morning. And I'm glad that he brought up the theme of things for today, because this has to be discussed. And just as I was coming in there, I had a conversation with somebody about this very situation. And I have my analysis of the paralysis. Oh yeah, trust me, folks. I have an in-depth analysis of the foolishness, and that's putting it mildly, the assness is the word I will make up for that. The assness of what went on yesterday. And let the licks fall where it may, because I'm going to be dropping licks. I'm going to be dropping licks. But before I get into that, good morning to everyone. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Yesterday marked the 5th. Yesterday was the 6th of June. And it marked the 5th anniversary of the UWP win at the polls, at the elections of 2016. That's all it did. It marked that date. July the 12th will mark the constitutional anniversary date, the 5th anniversary of the sitting of this government, this parliament. And that is what the Constitution talks about, the 12th of July. But you have the ignoramuses repeating and feeding people who don't know any better about constitutional problems and how this is unprecedented and whatever. It's nothing unprecedented. Precedented or unprecedented is irrelevant. The law of the land, the Constitution of St. Lucia says 5 years as government from the first sitting of Parliament. That's all there is to it. You can jump high, you can jump low. Take it to court. Take it to court. Palabitit zotkadi, take me to court. Well, take that to court. There's no merit to it. That case will not even make it to 1 minute in the court. It will be dismissed. Because the law is very clear. It's very unambiguous. 5 years after the first sitting of Parliament. Oh, the Prime Minister wants to delay the election. Stop talking nonsense. And you know darn well you're talking nonsense. Ignorant. Stop talking foolishness. The 5th anniversary of the first sitting of Parliament during this term of government is July the 12th. Just about 5 weeks left. And do you know what happens? On that date, the 12th of July, 2021, which marks the 5th anniversary of the first swearing in Parliament, the first sitting of Parliament. You know what happens on that date if the Prime Minister does not dissolve the House, prorogue Parliament? You know what happens? Do you know what happens? Parliament is automatically dissolved. So the furthest the Prime Minister can go within the Constitution is July the 12th. That's it. Is there any threat that he's going to take over the country by force, by arms? And say nobody's going to call elections again, I take over? That ain't happening. It ain't going to happen with Kenny Anthony. It ain't going to happen with Philip J. Pierre. It ain't going to happen with any of the washed up revolutionaries out there who never saw the light of day for all their dastardly plans to take over St. Lucia by revolution, along with a number of other islands in the region. Belelesh. It ain't happening. And it ain't happening under Alan Chastney either. So get that notion. Stop trying to incite people to make them believe that something of the sort is going. We must take a bombs, revolution in all kind of ways and fancy spelling and talking indirectly and figuratively, you know. Trying to rile up all the old washed up, old grey head revolutionaries that can't even walk properly. Can't even hold a job properly. But believe that they will be hanging on the coattails of some ignoramus to make them some type of cardboard general or some cardboard lieutenant. Hey! Foolish. Indoctrinate how many unsuspecting people now with all their revolutionary crap that ain't getting them nowhere, wasting time at Pigeon Point Yeah? Wasting time at Pigeon Point in the bush. Sitting there, how many of them can leave a papi show? Yeah, I know. Yeah, you should see them coming out there, all their eyes glazed. Come see the other Czech cult with another ignoramus that sit down up there doing nothing. And when you see them, you can tell, same type of thing, writing their diatribe of articles and foolishness on social media, long passing on roll toilet paper. Bunch of nonsense, same old nonsense. We declare and we decree and tutkalte papi show. Revolution, this revolution, that, forget about it. Only revolution you're going to have is if they put you in a barrel and roll it around. That's the only way you're going to revolve. Dreamers. Oh, we have a call via WhatsApp here. I'll take that call and then I won't take any more until I get through my rant this morning. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real. Good morning, how are you?
What about you?
I'm all right, I'm great. A lovely birthday yesterday.
Me too. After that forum last night, I'm great. That was very educational, very informative. Unlike the noise that Labour was doing on their platform on the other side.
Are you surprised?
All the youth.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. And I want to tell the UWP supporters, do not let that deter you all.
Or
do not
intimidate
panic
you.
at all that noise. Yes, and I noticed that some of the UWP supporters are getting intimidated by that noise.
That's the plan.
Empty
That's the
vessels
plan.
make the most noise.
That's the plan.
Yes.
They made more noise.
And we must not, yes, in 2016, and we must not let that get to us. We must ride above it. You understand? We must stop with the negativity and think positive. You understand? And come together and realize that they're trying to intimidate us and put us in fear. You understand? So we have to get over it. And I'm very, very satisfied with the forum last night. You know, it was really, really educational, and it was well planned, and it was class compared to what the other side had. You understand? And what happened yesterday with all this pan beating and thing, you know, this is so ridiculous. What will they get from that? What have they achieved from what they did yesterday? Ask them what they achieved from the noise and all what they did yesterday. Nothing. You understand? It's a whole sort of lie day, and we all know that's what Labour, from the 1980 something, Labour always up in a lie day with people. So we mustn't let that get to us. We must ignore all the noise and all the harlicacy and all the disrespect. Okay? No, but you have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Have a great day. Well, I won't be taking any calls for a while. I must say good morning to everybody in the diaspora, in Barbados, in U.S. Virgin Islands, in the U.S. of A., in the United Kingdom, in Antigua, in Canada, and all over. Martinique, bonjour Martinique, bonjour Cayenne, bonjour Guadeloupe. Those of you in Antigua, those of you in St. Vincent, in Trinidad, Peru. I see somebody connected there from Peru. I guess it's a St. Lucian or whoever you are. Good morning and welcome. Buenos días. Bienvenidos a Santa Lucia. Good morning to all of you all around St. Lucia, wherever you are, in the north, the south, the east, the west. Good morning to you and welcome this morning. Now I'm telling you folks, the gloves are off this morning. You all know, and I want you to listen to the reasoning this morning because I'm going to be very detailed. I'm going to keep it real with you all because this is the type of discussion that we're supposed to have of the facts, of logical and sensible reasoning, of standards, of proper execution of duties, forward thinking, being aware of what has occurred, and the appropriate actions and implementation of training. I had a conversation yesterday, and I'm sure many of you saw that video from outside the Prime Minister's house, his private residence. And in talking to a few people yesterday, their reactions, including mine, were of incredulity, if that's a word. I don't have time to check this morning. That what occurred was incredible. And one of them even said to me, don't tell me anything about it, because the foolishness I'm seeing there is incredible. I don't want to hear about it. I just don't want to hear about it. And the more I watched that thing over and over and over again, and in the aftermath, subsequent to what happened there, the actions that were taken or not taken incensed me, riled me up, enragé moi, please. Yeah. Now, I am not privy. You see, I always give people a way out or an opportunity. You see, in discussing things, you must always give people the opportunity. I am not privy to everything that the police have done in this matter. But having been a former police officer, having trained in a number of different subjects in the police, whether it's police subjects or military subjects, I have my own educated and informed opinion about what transpired or did not transpire yesterday. And I'm telling you, moi enragé. I will choose my words very carefully. In fact, I have. I will present them to you very carefully. And I will go into the sequence of events. Now understand my English very well. Those of you who didn't finish school or conveniently don't understand English properly when it suits you. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia, record it well, in the context of my discussion this morning with you. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia is not a person. I'll say it again. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia is not a person. Quote me well. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia is an office. It's an institution. And whether it's Kenny Anthony, whether it's Philip J. Pierre, whether it's Stevenson King, whether it's Alan Shastney, John Compton, Von Lewis, whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's your nenen, whether it's your power, whether it's your jabal, your cousin, your child, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. He's not the Prime Minister of Alan Shastney. He's not the Prime Minister of Kenny Anthony. He's not the Prime Minister of Philip J. Pierre. He's not the Prime Minister of any single entity. He is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. And there has to be the respect for that office. And for all intents and purposes, the leader of this country, I won't say the head of state, although you can use that loosely, because the Governor General is the head of state. But for all intents and purposes, the leader of this country The head of state. I'm not talking I'm not in no diplomatic setting right now. The head of state. We live in 2021. Not 1970, not 1980, 2021. After 9/11, after Columbine, after lots of other incidents. Lincoln, way back then, in the theater, was assassinated, was shot in the theater way back in 18-something. So threats to the head of state are not anything new. And we have to learn by the examples that have been set. We must learn from the experiences of others. We don't have to wait for it to happen here. Qu'on ka toujours fait, West PA, moun ki bien train, lackadaisical, waiting for things to happen. Always the case in St. Lucia. And I may talk my political stuff, if you want to characterize it as that. I may criticize Philip J. Pierre. I may criticize Kenny Anthony or anybody else. And I've criticized Alan Chastney right here already. If you didn't hear, sorry for you. But I will never support any of this foolishness against an individual. Never. Some people are obsessed. They are sick to their stomach with hatred for the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. This current one. I'm talking about this current one. They are sick. And they will use directly or indirectly all manner of threat, all manner of incitement to cajole people. Maybe just one unstable individual out there, just like Donald Trump. Another example, we saw it happening before our eyes. Incite and instigate people to go out and believe that there's a bigger movement and that they will get support to conduct their foolish acts in St. Lucia. Zot konet mwen lemete police mate kasi me gwen. Now let's come to the current time now. 2 weeks ago or so, when an idiot put out a voice note with a purported Bajan accent, saying that the 6th of June, he would go out there at Rodney Bay and block the Prime Minister, block his wife, block their kids, all sorts of nonsense. And you know what, folks? Rightfully so, the people of St. Lucia were outraged by that nonsense. They were outraged, rightfully so. And if anybody said that about Philip J. Pierre, I would be the first to condemn it. And if anybody said it about Kenny Anthony, I would be the first to condemn it. Let's get it right. But the fact is that that incitement, and we had another idiot, supposed talk show host, talking about I'll be there, giving one idiot all the time in the world to spew his foolishness without a word of admonition, without cutting him off, without saying this is against the law. Nada! Nada! But from the time, hold on, let me just backtrack a little bit. Whether it's Kenny Anthony, you know, I want to make it broad. I'm painting broad. Because it's not only one person occupying the office. Whether it's Kenny Anthony, whether it's Philip J. Pierre, whether it's Alan Chastney, whether it's you, and whether it's me, the residence of the Prime Minister of St. Lucia is supposed to be a hot zone, a high security area. Tell me if I'm wrong. Supposed to be a high security area. However, in light of a number of statements that have been made, and in light of that statement, that threat made on social media recently with that Bajan sounding accent, just to direct your attention to the appropriate section, and because of the specific date that was mentioned in that, 6th of June, the area surrounding the Prime Minister's residence was supposed to be, or should have become, an even more sensitive, more highly secured area than it was before. Tell me if I'm wrong. Now, I don't think, people don't think, but we have people responsible for implementing security in this country. And I don't think anything I'm saying here is anything exceptional that other people can't think of. So I will not say that I will be revealing anything about security. Where the Prime Minister lives, in evaluating the necessary security for that location, there are two major concerns. Approach by land, which is by road, by foot, by bicycle, by horse, and by sea. That's not a secret. Prime Minister's house bounds the marina. So the Marine Police or other means of patrolling that area are an important consideration. Yes or no? I think that's logical to assume. That's logical to conclude. Yesterday, we saw video. Folks, I'm going methodically through this for you. We saw video of an idiot. You think anybody could go or get within reach of the private residence of the US president or any other president, or in Mia Motley's house in Barbados? You have to have levels of security zones. This idiot, in the context of everything that's happening, two of them, idiots, approach the Prime Minister's house and engage in beating up themselves. Cabose in pan. Right? Now, this is not the fella that making shebon down the road. This is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, for whom there are serious security considerations. Head of state. Again, I use that loosely. Prime Minister of St. Lucia. The Prime Minister of the country in 2021. Let me explain to you, or give you my analysis of the paralysis. Immediately, all of those people there should have been arrested, searched immediately. The idiot beating the pan, the other one that was there with him, and the person recording. Because under the circumstances of what has happened over the past 2 weeks, the threats that were made, the initial evaluation of that St. Lucia, of that situation, is that all those there were acting in concert. Number one, I give you the scenarios. You don't know if those people had any plans of violence. You don't know. Because what you have to evaluate it as, first off, worst case scenario. And then you start coming down. Did he have a gun on him? Immediately, these people should have been searched. The phone should have been confiscated. The vehicle should have been searched. Those people should have been detained for the maximum period of time permissible under the law in order to conduct investigations into whether there was any more to their presence there, especially in light of a threat that had been made before, mentioning that specific date, yesterday, June the 6th. You had to search all of their homes, all of their vehicles, and particularly that at least one of these people is the person who was arrested and charged before for obstructing traffic, if you want to use it lightly as that, impeding traffic on a highway when the two of them were driving up, was seen on video, on vidbouteille, blocking traffic, driving at 5 miles an hour in rush hour traffic, creating a nightmare for motorists in St. Lucia and for business. How much business was lost? I would, as a business, if you lost a deal, if you lost money, whatever it was, I would sue those guys too, civilly, on that date. If you lost any business on that date, moun ka kite moun chape, toi eze Saint Lucie. If you lost any business because of that traffic snarl-up, which was caused directly by those idiots driving side by side on a 2-lane highway at 5 miles an hour in rush hour traffic, sue them for damages. Now, let me go into the tactical side of things. Nou tout connaît voler avant yo vin voler en kayou. Yo ka passe up and down 2 jours, 3 jours, 4 jours, 2 semaines ka veye kayou, ka check. Ki le moun ka antwe, komen moun ki la, ki sa yo ka fe tout bay. Okay? Now in police and military training, you're taught the very same thing. Right? That the thieves, that the crooks, do the very same thing. Yo ka pase veye kayo. Zot konet sa koma. That is why you're encouraged to call the police. That is why you have neighborhood watches. So, because the people in the neighborhood know who's supposed to be there. They know who's supposed to be there. So my question then is, if all they came to do was beat pan, what else? You don't know. That's why you have to investigate further. And since it is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the sensitivity, the urgency, and the critical nature of all that transpired makes it even more concerning. You think if you jump the fence or you go out after making threats like that on air, that somebody would go to the White House or somewhere, that when you are arrested, the whole history of your mother and your uncle and your tut and everybody is not checked out? You have to see whether there's something going on. You have to investigate. And further, you have to analyze exactly what I've said here before. And this is why the statements by the SLP and the statements by other people have to be concerning. Look at that statement that was made 2 weeks ago by that purported Bajan accented person. Was that the person there? I dare say it was not. But what happened? You have somebody now being influenced by that very statement. So statements like that have influence. They influence mad people. They influence people who believe that, you know what, boy, I'm going to do that and I'm going to be looked at, in the hierarchy of whichever group of people as a hero. That there are a lot of people thinking like me, I'm going to get defense, they're going to pay my bail, they're going to get me out. That we're going to win the elections and nothing will happen. That's what some people out there think. So when somebody just, power yak me say, black me say, kabay me say, passe ouye, he may not be serious, but somebody out there will think that the idiot is serious. That they are more like me. Oh, I was thinking about that. There's more like me. Tell me it ain't so. Tell me if this is not a logical conclusion. So now we see an idiot who on the same day that somebody else said that this had to happen there is now showing up. The same idiot who created, as far as I'm concerned, an act of terrorism. I know it's not. By tying up the whole north of the island. By him and somebody else in 2 learning vehicles, driving school vehicles, driving at 5 miles an hour, side by side on the highway, stopping everybody. Impeding everybody. De le ou pa kachile Adam moun bizwen en bon kout lolo bef en doyo. Which reminds me of a certain person who sentenced a man to be flogged on Columbus Square at the time, Derek Walcott Square. Ou ekwiyan bay about me, I will deal with you. I'll deal with you. You're coming out of the hole. Ou pa di anyen, mais all of a sudden, ou vle ekwi about me. I will give you the appropriate response soon. Velen John. I'll give you the appropriate response. Don't think I didn't see it. I'll give you the appropriate response. Because Adam zot kwe zot to a philosophe. But getting back to the issue at hand. The question to ask yesterday by the Prime Minister's residence was whether that was a dry run. You know what a dry run is? Kon se vole a pase pou we ki sa kay fet, ki komen tan kay pon. So, was that a test run yesterday for a future date to see how long it would take the police to respond? How much backup would come? How many police officers would be there? That's why you have to go search the house to see if there's any material, if there's any notes. That's why you had to seize that phone to see whether there were any videos of the Prime Minister's residence before that date. That's why you had to seize the phone to see if there was any discussion or meeting or filming of other residences or anything else. That's why you had to seize the phone. Was that phone seized? That's the question I have to ask. Was it seized? I'm sure you have a very good answer to that, whether that phone was seized. What's the number of that phone? What are the call records associated with that phone? Were other people called a few minutes before? Were calls received a few minutes before? And all of those records would then indicate to you a connection, if there is one. Who did they call? Who did they coordinate with? That's why you have to go search their homes. That's why you have to go search their vehicles. That's why you had to seize the phone. You tell me something like that an hour or so later, Bugla Halaje? What investigation was conducted in that time? How do you know? Was a warrant executed on his residence? Or by his girlfriend, or where he live, or whatever, mamele? That's what's supposed to be done. You have to tie up all the ends to find out, to verify, to ascertain that there was nothing else to this than beating pan. Like an idiot. So there's something called a salute report. Those of you who know the military training, when you go conduct your surveillance, you know you have these acronyms for so many things so that you can remember what information you're supposed to put in or what's required. A salute report is an acronym for size, activity, location, uniform, time, and equipment. That's what you do when you go and surveil the enemy. When you get to your ORP or objective rallying point, and you send out your scout or you send out your forward officers to move out and have a look at the front line or wherever. Go observe a building. So when you have your salute report, so let me give you the salute report context of the Prime Minister's residence. Size. If you notice, they were recording size of the location, size of the personnel there. How many? How many police officers came out? How long did it take them to come out? Which would suggest that if we get there, if the police take 30 seconds to respond, we have 20 seconds. You see the bank robbery movies, you see the things on TV. We're not unexposed. So fellows say, well, from the moment we break the glass and the alarm goes off, the silent alarm goes off, it takes the police 2 minutes to get here, so we have a minute and a half. Tell me then so. So was what happened yesterday a dry run for a future incident? That is why they had to be brought in for investigation. 48 hours or 72 hours while you investigate. La pani pièce avocat sa fait yo sorti a sous ça. It's not about disturbing the peace. If somebody goes by somebody's house where they have a charcoal pit and does that, that's a different situation. Different situation. And I've given you all the context of what happened before and what's been going on. You tell me 1 hour later or whatever, this idiot out again creating more trouble about the place. I mean. So, let's get back to that acronym, salute. So now they evaluate how many people come out, right? What was the purpose of the road? Did everybody respond to the front while somebody could pull in a boat at the back? Was the Marine Police called to conduct an initial sweep of the area at the back to make sure that there were not other people who were planning to do something on the water side? Which continues to support the question that I have about the period of time that it took for this guy to be released. It's not about disturbing the peace. A of the salute. Activity. What were they doing? Were they in the front yard? Were they on the balcony? Were they not visible? What? L. Location. Where were they? Well, the location is the Prime Minister's residence. U. Uniform. What were they wearing? Were they in fatigues? Because later on you have to be able to identify them, to make them out, so you don't confuse them with guests, or you don't confuse them with the family or whatever. Who are the people you have to be concerned about? What are they wearing? Time. What time was it? And E, equipment. Did they have submachine guns? Did they have rifles? Did they have sidearms? Was weapons visible? And whatever else you want to include in that report, but that is the foundation of the report, a salute report. Was there anybody at the back? Did they not make any noise and simply observe? Well, everybody ran to the front. Look, the back was open. Everybody there should have been arrested yesterday. Every one of their homes should have been searched. Every one of their vehicles should have been searched. The log for their phones should have been acquired and cross-checked against other known numbers and other individuals, particularly within the past 24, 48 hours before the incident yesterday. Did they receive any call 5 minutes before they went there or they showed up? Because all of these things, all of that information will be clues to whether they're acting in concert with other people. And that same idiot left there or before there or whatever was up by another minister's supposed residence, Cafe Membaila. What is that about? And the fact is that in the context of everything else, the government continues to operate within the constitutional requirements of St. Lucia, according to the Constitution. But yet still you'll have these idiots out there who continue to push, suggest. They're not saying it, you know, but they're trying to give you the idea that there's something about the 6th of June. Ipahaya is just the anniversary of the United Workers' Party win at the polls and the rescue of St. Lucia from the jaws of hell. That's what it signifies. The Prime Minister still has 5 weeks to call the elections. And when he calls it, he doesn't have to dissolve or require Parliament to dissolve on the same day or elections to be called on the same day. The Prime Minister can stand today, address the nation, and say, I'm calling elections on the 5th of August. Parliament will be dissolved on the 6th, on the 12th of July. He can do that. When he announces it, does not mean that elections is going to be the same day. It's just that he makes the announcement of whatever the date is going to be. And still after the 12th of July, the Constitution say buksani a problem ek law. The Constitution says even after the 12th of July, the Prime Minister can announce the date of elections up to 90 days after the 12th of July. That's the law of St. Lucia. The law. You tell me you have this joker go in and stand up on the lookout there just across the road from Government House and talking about we have to take our country back. The country ain't yours. It's not the SLP's country, which our country. Take it back from where? Take it back from whom? The people of St. Lucia decided who they wanted to govern St. Lucia. Take your damn time. When you were there, you didn't have a problem with being there because the people put you there. But as usual, the mantra, if we win, we win. If we lose, we win. Never want to respect the will of the people, only when it's convenient to them. Want to dictate every aspect of life and government in this country, even when they're out of office. With your political gopwell, chagrin pouvoir, and being elected and swearing to uphold the laws of St. Lucia, the Constitution. But then want to malmene people sevel and bluff them with all kind of nonsense. When you yourself swore publicly or for the public to see in the House of Parliament, just Lord Juala, I bear true allegiance to Her Majesty the Queen and the laws of St. Lucia and the Constitution and tout kalte baisa. But yet still you want to come out there and malmene people several and give hints or suggest as if something is wrong. The only time the Prime Minister can delay elections past the constitutional date of the 5 years is if St. Lucia is at war. That is what the Constitution says. If St. Lucia is at war. And Alan Shastney, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, I say to you today, call elections when you're ready within the Constitution, as it gives you the power to do. Lines are open. Call it in. 456-0931. 456-0931. Let me hear what you have to say. And on WhatsApp, the WhatsApp number is 485-0931. We have our first caller. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Mother, I'm very upset what happened yesterday. Number one, we still have a state of emergency, right or wrong? We under a state of emergency still, right or wrong?
Yes, we do.
And for that display day yesterday, in my opinion, that was demonstrating. That is it. And the Commissioner of Police, if these guys wanted to demonstrate, they're supposed to write a letter and get a letter to do what they were doing there. But on the other hand, you're talking about commander-in-chief of a country, the Prime Minister, heavy guarded by special police officers. Yes, the guy was there. Police came out. You have people on radio talking about blocking the Prime Minister. That is a threat, and I would take that serious. The reason for that, it's only small islands like the OECS that would happen. And as you mentioned, it would not happen in Barbados. It would not happen in Trinidad. It would not happen in Jamaica.
Caller, that nonsense would never happen in Trinidad. Those people would still be locked up under investigation. You think you can imagine that? Anyway.
But I give those police officers them personal bodyguards, if you want to call it.
Security detail.
Zero, in my opinion. The reason for that, you're highly trained. You should know what to expect. And we in an election year, you're hearing all those things that the opposition and people going and making comments as though, well, you know, somebody wants to overpower the government to take control of the country. You see what happened in Grenada? That thing happened yesterday. I don't care well if the man was beating fun. There's a certain yard you could see. He's not even supposed to be by the gate. I telling you, if I was the security to the Prime Minister, with all what was going on, it's either I break this guy's leg, and even when I shoot him, break his leg, he should be in police custody. No bail. No bail.
Caller, let me tell you something. I will maintain that those individuals who were there should have continued to remain in custody for the period of time whilst further investigations were carried out to verify what the extent of the threat that they posed could have been in light of what was said before. I am adamant about that.
I really upset. So you know what's going to happen now?
So what message is that sending to other people now?
You know that same individual, when I keep, rolling that video there, and I realize it's that same guy that teach people how to drive that I can't believe what I saw.
Boycott him. That's what I call people. Boycott him, his business. This man is no example for this country and is putting St. Lucia in a state.
And you know what really struck me again? The things that are happening in St. Lucia. I ask myself right now, I wonder if, man, I don't even know what to say, because I mean the way those police officers came out, yes, but I would apprehend this guy, you know, make sure I take a tour of the Prime Minister's residence, because I am not sure what was the intention.
Exactly.
You know, I have a serious problem with that. You know, this guy is not supposed to be by the man's gate. You know,
Papi Show, sir. Papi Show, sir. Papi Show.
You know, Commander-in-Chief, any part of the world. Let me tell you now, but and you know that you live in the United States. Do you know,
brother man,
get to the White House the way you think you want to get there? Nah, man, you'll get snipers all over, man. You know.
You know what? What we gonna wait for in St. Lucia again, as usual? C'est pour un bail fait.
Yeah, when it happened, oh my God, boy, why they didn't put measures in place? But I am telling you, this thing, everybody thinking, no man, it ain't going to happen, it ain't going to happen. It's just take one little thing to make
but
it
you know,
happen.
in the context of everything again, look at all the questions that are being asked. Look at the situation, the invasion of the Forestier Church.
Boy, but it just that, you know, the police had an opportunity, okay, to demonstrate their powers and say, look here, y'all went there, y'all doing all your
Thank
nonsense.
you, caller.
No
Thank
arrest.
you. That was my next point.
Man, that guy would be handcuffed and at gunpoint until when I call for backup, because we are already protecting the Prime Minister's residence and the surrounding. And then the criminal investigation.
So let me ask you a question, caller. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think that going there in the context of all that was happening, that somebody, one person, was recording to put it out, to incite people further? That was the intention, among other things that it could have been.
Thomas, let me give you another one. When Obama was in power,
I give you 30 seconds, caller.
Yeah, when Obama was in power, because I have a friend of mine which is special, you know, he works with Obama still. Those guys, Obama had to go to, I think, Colombia. And you recall what this secret police was doing? When they had to go there to make the way, because the president always send people to secure the place. They were caught hands down. They were dismissed and replaced by other, you know.
Yeah, they went to some strip club or whatever.
And I have my friend, you know, that's where he got the chance to replace those guys. Well, we don't speak on a regular basis because of his job during the time he was a secret police. But what happened there is wrong. I would dismiss those guys. I don't really care what people tell me. That is my view.
All right, caller.
It's my view.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. 4560931. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're on the air. Good morning.
Mr. Williams, how you doing?
Morning, sir.
Okay, Mr. Williams, I've been listening from like 45 minutes there or so, and you're on point. But there's one main point that you're missing out, Mr. Williams.
Tell me.
Because it was out open, so if we say it certainly will not be we trying to make people hate the gentleman, Mr. Kingston Jah.
Say that again. Say that again. I didn't. We're gonna make people hate what?
Kingston Jah. I'm saying whatever I'm going.
I don't care about his name. I don't care what his name is.
Yeah. What I'm trying to add to all what you're saying, Mr. Williams, is after that 5 miles per hour, there was a voice note going out, and this particular guy was saying he's feeling suicidal. So how could we trust this guy? Even
thank you, caller. Thank you. Good one.
How would you be trusting me to know as a student that he will not just run his vehicle into a
thank you, caller. And then the question is, was a psychological evaluation conducted on back then? And considering that at the Prime Minister's residence yesterday, in concert with a threat that was made before. Me siete fou.
Oui, but Mr. Williams, you know, they were quick to say that the Prime Minister have officer at his private residence and not the governmental. So those people that spin in. Say, yo, Kusab. And one thing again, Mr. Joaquin, like I mentioned, he was actually in a school within the teachers within months, or parents there within months. I want to know whether he made an evaluation to trust him with the people children in school. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
How you doing, sir? Good morning.
Morning, good morning.
Very good program again.
Thank you very much.
This is a tragedy, as much as what I could say to it. I just want to touch on that situation, you know, with the Prime Minister's private home. We're not talking about the one by VG, right?
The official residence. His private home. Yes, yes.
My God.
And for these guys to come off the road and come all the way inside there, people don't just generally walk around there. You went there specifically.
Exactly. That is so unfortunate. That is really, you know, for you to be doing this thing to a country, that is embarrassing, you know. In the day and the world we're living in right now, a lot of things have been going out easy, so easy. The only you think the only people listening to this program and the things that is happening in St. Lucia is St. Lucians alone in St. Lucia?
They know that very well.
Overseas people are watching us.
And I'll tell you something.
I'll
tell you something. I have a message here from someone. When you're done, I'll read it because it's directly along those lines.
Okay, there you go. We have to show our respect to the office of the Prime Minister.
That's right.
I am not saying the individual. You might not like the individual, but at the same time, if that individual holds
that is right. That is right.
You do not disrespect that person. Let me put it that way for the liver hacks. Would you think any Flabo supporter or anybody would go by Kenny house?
Never.
No matter how long the distance driveway is to his home, they will never do that.
In cul-de-sac under the bananas.
Exactly. They will never do that. I feel so threatened if they can do that to a Prime Minister. What about me? Caller,
can I ask you to hold for a second? Can I have you hold?
No problem.
Because I want to augment what you're saying there.
Yes.
And this is calling into question the confidence that the people will have in the police. Because you know what the logical question will be? If this can happen by the Prime Minister's house, what about me?
What about me? I am feeling so frightened, man. If that could happen to this guy, what about me? These guys could literally come at my home now, chop off my head and nothing for that. That is so bad. You cannot have this happening right now. I will never expect that to be happening by Mr. Obama's house, neither Hillary Clinton, neither whoever at the president's house, nobody else in the world.
Let me tell you something, man.
You know,
if that happened anywhere like that, Trinidad, the amount of police and security personnel that will descend upon that area.
You know, that's what I'm thinking of. Man, we St. Lucians have to really look at the big picture of things and stop taking those crazy idiot guys with their one way of thinking.
But you know what, caller?
You want to rule, you want to govern a country so much, you rather burn the country to the ground instead of understanding what's going on right now.
But you know what, caller?
Getting the point of this country. Oh,
you know what, caller? You know what? They're actually succeeding in creating the environment that they have been working on doing.
I will always go back and I will always say, young people, I know you are listening. Young people, look at what your mother and father and your grandmother, your grandfather, your auntie, your nenen, whoever they are doing. Listen carefully to what they are saying. You have to look at both sides of the story, not one side. Doesn't matter if you're born and raised Labour. Doesn't matter if you're born and raised Flabo. People of St. Lucia, young people, we are the ones that will be taking over after them. Guys, we do not want this to become a place where is war.
But what they said, what did Onesile say? This will be the nastiest elections.
And it's not supposed to be. It does not have to be. If we find fault in an individual, in a parliamentarian, in whoever that holds the office, we put them into that situation and we let them know, yo, that's what you did and you did wrong and you need to correct it. Give him a way of saying, you should have done this, you should have done that. But if you know the man did not do wrong, and you find him wrong in all little kakada, in little quaint, to make people think things, that's not right. That is not right. But when I come to you and I tell you, but you looking at what I did, and I know I did not do wrong, but I know you did wrong, and people see you did wrong, but they're still supporting you? Oh, come on, man. Come on.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. You too. Thanks. I want to read this message I got there. Good morning, Mr. Norbert. All this rhetoric and violence being spewed from the operatives of the opposition St. Lucia Labour Party is doing no justice to St. Lucia's reputation regionally and internationally. Investors are very wary to invest in any country which exhibits political unrest and violence. It is for this very reason the SLP cannot attract foreign investments to St. Lucia when they are in power. Okay, let me get another one there. 4560931. Let me read another one there. These SLP supporters are so daft and misguided. I'll read that in a second. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Mr. Williams, good morning.
Morning,
How
sir.
are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? How was your weekend?
Pretty good. I don't want to say I'm fearful, but yeah, maybe I should for our country and what is happening, and I bring into that personal safety as well, because as the gentleman said, if there can be that kind of breach around the residence of the Prime Minister, a series of events that have taken place in which there appear to be inaction on the part of the police. I repeat myself, they appear to be inaction on the part of the police. Should I mention them? I don't need to. Everybody knows by now.
Exactly.
Major breaches. In fact, people are beginning to say why nothing is being done. And if it was an ordinary person, so-and-so would have happened and happened in an expeditious manner. And my concern is on the police keeping or allowing the doors to be open for this thing to descend into anarchy and chaos. Because, you know, when people realize that there is inactivity on the part
there
of
you go. It emboldens
they will be
them.
emboldened,
Yes.
and maybe that's what we're seeing,
Yes.
to go further,
That's
do
right.
more and more.
When are you going to get to
etc.
that point? Huh.
Exactly. And you mentioned Trinidad. This would never happen in Gary Griffiths, Trinidad.
Hey, you're crazy.
Never happened under Gary Griffiths. And so I am just wondering why is the police so apparently comatose, and especially in the season that we are now. This has nothing to do with politics. It's maintaining law and order.
That's right.
And the issues we're looking at, including the recorded message, etc., is sort of on the brink of it's related to national security
That's right.
issues.
Well said. National security.
concerns.
Yes.
Put the politics aside.
Yep.
And I'm saying, if you listen to the recorded message and some of the other things, and you saw what happened outside the Prime Minister's residence, is there a link?
But that's the question.
It begs the question.
Exactly.
And I listened to your comments earlier. I think our police need to wake up and be more proactive. I was impressed in the statement they put out. But in more practical terms, I mean, listen, when the current U.S. President Biden was elected, months before, the airspace around his home.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
We need to wake up.
Yep.
We need to wake up. Otherwise, everybody will say, poor job, you know, and it could be avoided. So I just hope our police commissioner, who I have a lot of respect for, steps up a few notches and do what is required to bring stability to our environment in St. Lucia. Otherwise, you know, we're going to descend into chaos.
Caller, let me ask you a question,
Yeah.
or let me make an observation. That is why we have to be up to the times. That's what that expression means. So what are we going to wait for next? For a drone to be flying into his yard, into the airspace around his house, before we take action about that?
Exactly. Exactly. And then I listened to you post that incident. Was there a sweep of the area? That's what happens in the real world. You know, when are our police, you know, Mr. Commissioner, I'm appealing to you, step up, please. Otherwise, we're going to have major injury into this country, which will affect prospects tomorrow in terms of investment. People are looking in, you know. It's a small world now.
You see, people believe that something serious has to happen. It's just the specter. The idea that boy, look at what's going on there. Is this going to escalate? Is it going to become worse? And then that is going to affect your viability, your competitive advantage. Right now, with the world of COVID, economies are very fragile. We cannot afford to have any type of speculation about the stability of St. Lucia.
We cannot. And Norbert, we must stop being a nation of firefighters. Let us be more proactive. Let us stop being a nation of firefighters. Mr. Commissioner, over to you. There is no fear of you being claimed to be political. It is doing your job in terms of securing the country and order and security in our country, yeah? Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Norbert.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Norbert, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
Norbert, what happened yesterday was a very, very, very serious incident. And St. Lucians need to take this thing very seriously. Norbert, what happened yesterday with this man going to the Prime Minister's residence to beat his stand? Norbert, this crossed every line of decency, of lawfulness, etc. And we cannot take these things lightly. You see, we as St. Lucians, we take things lightly. We believe, the man just going on the road to beat his stand. No. You're going to the house of the Prime Minister's personal residence, where his wife and his children are, to beat your pan. No, but I have no problem with anybody protesting. It is our right as St. Lucians to protest. You could protest in front of the government buildings, you could protest in public spaces. But when you cross the line of going to the Prime Minister's personal residence, we need to take this thing very, very, very seriously, especially in the charged political environment that we have, where we see all sorts of threats being issued on the life of the Prime Minister and his family. We need to take these things very seriously, but we can't take these things lightly. Because like somebody said, when something happens, God forbid, our Prime Minister gets hurt or his family, what are we going to say? Oh, man, we should do something, man. We should do something. This is now. We have to do something. This is the time. This is the time. You know, but when you have extreme guys like this idiot who went to the Prime Minister's residence yesterday, last year this guy was arrested for his stupid protest, driving at 5 miles an hour down the double-lane highway along the Butane, causing traffic to be backed up for hours up north. He did not learn his lesson. Because you know what he wants to be? He wants to be a hero in the eyes of the Labour Party and the Americans.
The idiots.
He wants to be a hero, right? He wants to go and be praised. And you know what? I see a lot of these people, their supporters, calling him a hero. I see somebody say, oh, not all heroes wear capes. So now he's feeling like the big man in town. Look at what I do. I go to the Prime Minister's residence. And you know what? It is emboldened by the messaging sent by the Labour Party, by the failure to condemn these actions, by their own words, by the response to people like what Joachim Henry did. Because look at what they did. They actually came out and supported Joachim Henry, blamed Guy for Joachim's lawlessness. He is sending a very strong message to their supporters that this kind of behavior is acceptable, and it is not. Labour Party is strategically doing these things in order to create chaos and confusion. And by their failure to condemn the actions of their supporters, they are creating a situation of chaos and confusion in St. Lucia. They're supporting it. They are supporting it. Their failure to condemn it when one of their own can go into a church, break the law, break section 556 and 557 of the criminal code, and they have done nothing about it. As a matter of fact, they've come out and protected and defended him and condemned the victim, Guy Joseph, and his church. Could we imagine? But no, but we have to take it seriously. In Dominica, the Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerritt, walks with at least 5 bodyguards around him anywhere he goes. Dominica has had 2 attempted coups. We need to take this thing seriously, and decent solutions need to come out and speak about it and condemn it in a very serious way.
But listen to this. But listen to this. Even further, I have just been informed by a source that this individual, Kenson Jean, he didn't have any shame. Kenson Jean didn't have any shame putting his photo out there, so he put himself out in public. Kenson Jean is a former, listen to this, a former SPC, Special Police Constable. So he's not ignorant of the law, what should be done or not done. And that's why even more special attention should be paid to him.
Well, but he wants special attention. He's looking for notoriety. He's looking to make himself, to draw attention to himself. That's what he's looking to do. Like I said, he did not learn from last year when he was arrested.
Exactly.
But no, but I'm calling on the police again. Why is this guy out already? The police, you're not taking these things too lightly. You all are taking these things too lightly.
Oh, the man just there beating pan.
Been arrested?
For some people, he just beating pan.
Nonsense. Like you said, the entire zone around the Prime Minister's residence is a hot zone, especially in light of the threats that have been
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Crazy. And what are the police doing? No, pick up the man and he's out already. This guy should have been thoroughly investigated.
I ready to go at my home. I fed up, man. I ready. I just turn off this mic and go at my home.
In this country, nobody joking in this country.
Papi show, man.
I saw the same guy who was singing threats against the Prime Minister about kill Shasney. He issued this stupid little lame apology. I saw other videos of this guy saying the police can't doing anything.
And all these people just getting off with a smile.
Commissioner Daisy and the police force. Why hasn't this guy who uttered threats against the Prime Minister in his karaoke been arrested? Why hasn't Joaquin Henry been arrested? Why is Kingston Joe out? We need to send us. We're playing games in this country, man. We're playing games. Nobody's serious. I'm calling on decent solutions to push back and to speak out against this kind of recklessness and lawlessness against, not just, like you said, not just against a man, Alan Shasney, the institution of the office of Prime Minister in this country. Thank you, Norbert.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you so much. 4560931. 4560931. And we have our next caller. Good morning. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hi, good morning, Norbert.
Morning, sir.
Norbert, I am really, really concerned that this guy did not spend 24 hours in the calaboose.
48. The maximum amount of time that you could be kept under investigation is what he should be kept under, unless information proving that he should not be kept under investigation was available.
I didn't go as far as 48. I said 24. But Norbert, some people will say that the guy has a right to make his voice heard. Okay, I am a custodian of the law, and so we all should be. And I think that rights, law, freedom, justice, all these things must coexist. But I also think that sometimes democracy has to be a bit rough, and really rough at the edges. We cannot allow these people to carry on doing those things. The thin edge of the wedge was placed under the door a couple of years ago.
Well said,
and this is the result that we are seeing now.
Well said.
It was not stopped then, and then we are reaping the consequences now. Okay? Now, somebody mentioned about investors. It's true, investors will look at the political and criminal climate of the country before they invest. But they also observe and make decisions as to how the authorities react when you have those situations. And it is not looking good on our police force now, the way we are addressing some of those situations. It is very, very disturbing, and the police has to step up. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yes, good morning. I'm calling for the very first time.
Hey, thank you so much for calling.
Yes, I really do not know what transpired, but just listening to TV this morning, and I'm hearing they went by the Prime Minister's residence beating pan.
Yep.
Is that happened?
Yes. Yesterday. Did you see the video?
No, I didn't see it because I was not hearing the show. you know, and I'm very, very, very disappointed. You know, I find they are going too far now, and we should not accept this.
But this thing is being tacitly endorsed by the SLP because they refuse to make statements, categorical statements, especially when people from within the ranks commit the very same acts, make threats about throwing bombs and tag us in the House of Parliament. Philip J. Pierre, where are you? Where's your leadership, man?
And so many things they have been saying about him, and he's not talking, he's not saying
tacit
anything.
endorsements, that's what it is.
You know, I am not saying he's perfect, but he is trying. He have tried before, and he's still trying. You understand? He's trying. What more they want him to do? He's trying his best. You understand? Over the years, we never had a representation like this. You understand? I want him to leave my Prime Minister alone. He is doing what he can, and God is going to keep him there as long as he wants to be. You understand? Nothing they say will stop him. Nothing they say will destroy him. It doesn't matter. No weapon formed against him will not prosper. You understand? And I'm asking St. Lucians, please do not make any mistake to put SLP back in power, because remember they were there and we were crying to put them out. We were crying, so why should we put them back in again? What can they do at this time? What more can they do? What better can they do?
They haven't learned their lesson.
Understand? What better? You know, where will we go? That is why every time a new person is elected, we go backward and we're not going forward because of that same thing. You know, we have to give him another term and let him continue what he started, what he has been doing. We need to give him a chance. You know, SLP never allowed the people to come to do what they have to do. You know, they never gave the UWP a chance. They never gave these people a chance. You know, as if campaign was always there for them. They always in a campaign mood. From the time the Prime Minister won the election, these people have been
destabilize the country. Destabilize the country.
You know, they are hungry for power. They are thirsty. You understand? They're like dragons. They're like dragons. You understand? Why they not behaving themselves? Why? I don't mind if now they would be in campaign mood and so on, they would stop now. But they never stopped. They never stopped. What is there you all want to be? What you all want to take? What is there you all are hungry, greedy for? What? Give the Prime Minister a chance to continue what he is doing. We are small business people being affected by what the SLP people are doing. We need to go forward in our business. We need to go forward. We need things to be going on well for us. We have our businesses. We have our children to take care of. Let things continue. Why they behaving like that? I'm frustrated with these people, you know, and I do not like what they did to the Prime Minister. I'm very mad and I'm upset about it. You understand? And I am going to campaign. It doesn't matter wherever I am in my business, in my home, where I don't care what anybody says. I am going to stand for my Prime Minister and I'm going to campaign. And what these people are doing, they are not doing any good for their party.
Thank you very much, caller.
Not doing any good, and I know these SLP people, they are arrogant, they are ferocious, and I don't want to associate myself with them. And they are going to lose. You see what they're going to do there? What they're doing there, they are going to lose big and big and big time.
Thank you very much, caller.
They have to leave my Prime Minister alone.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you. Good morning. You on the air. Let's keep it real.
I know, but how are you doing?
Morning, sir. Morning.
I've been listening since Lionel called this morning.
Yeah.
I find it very interesting that no one has referred to the excellent report that the government gave, some of the ministers gave, the Prime Minister, and about 3 or so other ministers gave last night.
The Flambeau Forum.
On the stewardship. And you know, what it tells me is that the negative news still dominates. And I keep believing that no matter what negative news, once you call these people name in the opposition, you are actually giving them value in the eyes of the supporters and maybe even frightening your own supporters. And this is something that has always worried me and troubled me, because a person who is misbehaving and doing nonsense ought not to be given precedence and popularity and being spoken of and spoken of and spoken of ahead and above people who are doing good for the country and who are determined to continue doing good. So I am calling almost in protest. The point that has to be made is you and maybe one or two other persons should say, listen, as a former policeman, I know sufficient to know that this guy should be in prison, and I'll do more than that. I will investigate to find out why they're not, what is happening. And I would leave it at that. I would not continue to give these fellas value, because I'll tell you something. These guys are not worse or more bad John than anybody else in the society. I think we St. Lucians tolerate a lot of nonsense. We are very Christian. We are laid back. But I believe that everybody in St. Lucia, the one who is in church every day and praying, can be just as bad, just as violent as the guys who are beating pan and doing nonsense by the Prime Minister's house. Okay? So listen to me carefully. As far as I am concerned, the report that the ministers gave on their stewardship is what we should be selling. When I say we, the people who support the government in the media, and not the foolishness that these guys came to do. I know it is true that all the details you gave about how, the salute thing and everything, all of that can be true. But we need to file it away and do the work to make sure in the background it does not happen again. We can even alert our own supporters what to do if this thing persists and the police is not taking action. Maybe that's what they want. And all the opposition wants is to be spoken about, to be spoken of. These guys have nothing new to say to the people of St. Lucia and nothing new to do for and on behalf of the people of St. Lucia. They should not be given any mention as far as I'm concerned. Okay?
All right, sir.
That's what I call to say.
Okay.
I think we should be speaking about what the ministers were saying last night. The housing thing, as far as I'm concerned, when I go on that television and radio with Sir Michael Chastney on Wednesday, what I'm going to do is ask the minister responsible, Guy Joseph, to send out something to the nation, a competition for a basic house to house the poorest person and maybe design it in a way that they can add on to it afterwards. We need to build like 5,000 houses in the next few years in St. Lucia. And we need to get models that are strong, that will not break down. I have an idea which I've seen on documents, on the news and on magazines, 20-foot containers next to 40-foot containers, and how a good designer can make a solid home out of this, standing on maybe 2.5-foot columns. That is the kind of thing we have to be discussing in St. Lucia, the future of St. Lucia. The future.
Okay, caller.
Those who are beating the pants and things, so that is the past. Okay?
Right. Thank you very
Have a
much.
good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for keeping it real. 456-0931 and via WhatsApp at 485-0931. We have another caller. Good morning. You on the air. Let's keep it real.
Norbert?
Yes.
Just a quick question. This guy, Kenson Jean, to your knowledge, was he, because we also saw footage of him doing his nonsense outside the home of the parliamentary rep for Miku North. Was he arrested before or after that second?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I missed what you said.
No. The guy Kenson Jean,
right. In yesterday's incident.
we saw footage of him also doing his stuff outside of the home of the parliamentary rep for Miku North.
Right.
My question is, was he arrested before that second incident or after?
I am not too sure.
Because it's interesting. I don't know if you see where I'm going.
Yes, of course.
If he
left and continued
occurred after
yes,
he was brought in
and
for
released
questioning by the police,
it
shows a measure of defiance.
Yes.
And it further adds to our concern about the laid-back attitude of the police. Let me just say quickly, I agree with Mr. Josie, but Mr. Josie, let's please be tolerant with us, because what is happening there, the nation is expressing its disdain at what has happened, but I do agree with you that we need to shift the narrative soon. Perhaps tomorrow. But let us, the outpouring of people's disgust and anger, I think we have to leave space for that.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. All right. I have a message here that I want to read. It's a little extensive, but I'll get through it quickly, I guess. I think it's important that I share this with you. It says, I live in the diaspora and I follow Sky FM and GVD TV programming because they are the only mediums that give their followers factual information backed by the evidence. I have listened to many callers over the past months, and though they have made some wonderful contributions in support of this UWP administration, they have clearly missed the real psychological engineering of the SLP. And from my observation, if this situation continues, the UWP will be in serious trouble come general elections. The SLP's base, who have already been indoctrinated needs no or very little persuasion by their leaders. The Labour Party has and continues to intimidate the people of this country, and these people will not even call a talk show, much less speak in public against the SLP. Now to my point. While I understand that the United Workers' Party, because of its non-confrontational nature, is trying not to stir up disorder in the country, they are inadvertently displaying weakness as a government. The St. Lucia Labour Party clearly shows that they have more power in opposition than the UWP has in government, and that is dangerous. The continuous disregard for law and order by the SLP and its supporters, for example, the breach of the COVID-19 protocols, threats by its members at all levels, parliamentarians making threats in the House of Parliament, threatening the police when they perform their constitutional duties, threats and insults via their supported media by their operatives posing as media personnel, physical attacks on UWP parliamentarians and supporters, not being accountable to the citizens of this country for the blatant mismanagement of the country's affairs, refusing to provide proper evidence to legitimize their possessions, some questionable, deliberately misleading the citizens with misinformation, refusing to support the government in the fight against the threat of COVID-19 on our lives and livelihood, just to mention a few. The failure of the police and authorities to take appropriate action against those blatant threats to our citizens doesn't only indicate a problem with the police force, but most importantly, a weak government. This government needs to show that it is prepared to protect the rights of every citizen of St. Lucia as provided for under the Constitution, and take immediate action, drastic if necessary, because the security of the people is the most important responsibility of government. Without a sense of security, nothing progresses except anarchy and lawlessness. Not even feeling it is safe enough to get out and vote. Seeing that the SLP has so much power in opposition, some will definitely feel that they will do a better job of keeping them safe in government, regardless what their history and present maneuvering reveal. I warn the United Workers' Party, stand up and act now or forever regret. Pamweki Ekwi. Another message. Good morning, Norbert. I believe the police force needs some assistance to carry out its functions successfully. I believe in solving problems with decisive action. Could you advise the Prime Minister to have a little talk with the leader of the Philippines, Mr. Rodrigo Duterte, with a view of sending a few good disciplined police officers to assist our police force? Have a call via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hi, good morning, Norbert.
Morning, sir.
I actually had to resort to WhatsApp because the line is hot.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah, let me open the button by saying
I'll give you 2 minutes, caller. We at 7:56.
Yeah. The UWP forum was well presented. My shortcoming with it was that we did not start on time. The Labour Party started on time, 7 sharp. So we need to work on that. I listened also to the Labour Party stuff, whatever they had, and there was nothing, just the usual rhetoric, the same thing, laptop program and stuff, and there's nothing good there. So that's that on that. Now coming to that matter, that infraction that happened there. Now, but there is a serious problem in St. Lucia when it comes to security. It shows blatantly how inept the police force is in St. Lucia insofar as handling situations. That was handled very, very poorly. No message was sent out, nothing. And based on all the things you said, Norbert, these guys need some serious training.
Well, caller, hold on a second there. I think that the police are very well trained. I think they are.
You think so? Well, okay. Well,
I know so because I was trained.
They are not applying. They are not
there
applying
you go.
what
That's the appropriate.
What they have learned.
Yes.
Okay. So they are showing very, very poor.
And just one second, caller. 1 second. And in support, and I continue to say that I will support the police 100%. But I will not be a hypocrite, and I will not condone ineptitude. I will not condone the lack of action when the training, when professionalism requires that you do different. Now, I will say that our policemen and women in St. Lucia have gone out on police training, advanced police training subjects, on military subjects and training, on marine training, and almost every time our policemen and women have excelled and rose to the top of the class with other students or against other police officers and military personnel from around the world. So continue.
Okay, right. So right now there, that first message you read them, Norbert, I would like to endorse that message 100%. But that was a really well put together message. Now going to the Commissioner of Police. I do not know what is going on there, but I think it's giving rise to speculation right now whether that I'm the Commissioner of Police is in bed with the Labour Party.
Well, whoa. I wouldn't go as far as saying that. I will not go as far as saying that.
Okay.
I am not going to attribute. I will not attribute any such thing unless there is blatant evidence to support that. The question here is I prefer not to say that. I'll prefer not to say
because it's leaving a sour. Okay, all right. Okay, I will be guided by that, Norbert, but I am still saying it leaves speculation because there is very there's a lot of inaction on the part of the police. I'm the police commissioner, Norbert. I do not know what's
well. I don't know if the police commissioner. I don't know if the police commissioner is everywhere dealing with every situation. He presides over the running of the police force, but you have more men and women on the street who deal with particular circumstances.
What you're saying, but according to the second message you read there a while ago, but if the people are not being reassured by those in charge of security, then it leaves a false sense of insecurity by the citizenry, and this isn't good. Just like the last episodes they had, when the police made absolutely no public appearance to at least reassure the citizenry that they are in charge and they are working on it. They are too quiet. They must come out and say something when these kinds of infractions of the law have taken place.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something that is said in legal circles and is said. Justice must not only be done, it must appear to be done.
Exactly. And that is what I'm talking about. It's the same problem we had when we're saying that there are no police in town. Not in plain clothes, and they might have their special things doing that the citizenry doesn't know about. But what the citizenry know about is a police in uniform. That's what they know. So at all times there have to be some kind of appearance that something is happening to reassure the citizens or the law-abiding citizens of the country. And I think this is something right now there, Norbert, I am going to put the blame squarely on the hands of the Prime Minister because he is taking this thing lying down. This should not be, a threat has been made on the Prime Minister and his family, and this is how no response from the Prime Minister to show, well, we are not going to tolerate this kind of foolishness. The Prime Minister has to wake up and realize that he is letting the country descend into a place that we may not recover from. there are repercussions to these things, like you said, in terms of investors and all these kind of people coming in here, and you have this kind of anarchy going on here. The leader of the opposition needs to put his voice out as well and condemn this.
Yes.
And he's not doing that.
Yes.
He has never done it.
And it's called.
It's a shame.
That is what is called.
Politician.
That is what is called tacit endorsement. Tacit endorsement.
And no, but I would go further. I think it's just endorsement completely. There's no tacit again because he's had too many opportunities.
Mysteriously
for
silent.
him to come out
Exactly.
And list, say, boy, you know what's going on. We don't support it. Look at how he came out and support Joachim.
Mm-hmm.
He threw Guy under the bus.
Even when Guy was the victim.
Guy, for being attacked. She blamed Guy. Monty Lewis did the same thing. She blamed Guy, saying how he was the one who caused Joachim to come and attack him. A lot of foolishness is going on, and we cannot allow that to happen. The people who are responsible for the security of the nation needs to step up. This is very, very serious. The world is watching, and we need to do something about it.
Thank you very much, caller.
People need to wake up.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks for calling. Thanks for keeping it real. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll take one more on the line. Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Mr. Norbert.
Morning.
Based on the incidents yesterday, I just want to appeal to the supporters of the United Workers' Party to come out in full force and prevent these people from coming in. Because election is coming and no change is required.
Yes.
Thanks, Norbert.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep... Oh. Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep it real. Good morning. Morning. Okay, that one have some connection problems. Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Mr. Nabat. How
morning.
are you?
I'm doing good. Fine, thank you.
Yes, okay.
Talk to me.
I hope you had a wonderful birthday
I did.
yesterday.
Thank you very much.
That was great.
Thank you.
But I second you and I congratulate on your program this morning.
Thank you very
much. Very, very good. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Okay, folks, I'll take one more call. 456-0931. 456-0931. Have to get out of here this morning. And we have our final call. This is the final call. Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep it real.
Morning, Mr. Norbert.
Morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, this is really havoc has been created in our country time and time again. And I have alluded many times that the police force have to do their job. And this is what is not happening. I just heard you spoke about the Labour Party, Philip J. Pierre. If I am an instigator, I cannot speak about the things I instigated. The Labour Party definitely are the culprits behind all what is happening. So they will not speak against it, because if they speak against it,
they speak against themselves.
People who they have influence over will rebel against them. So that's the reason. Foremost, I want to ask you whether the Prime Minister doesn't have the right to get his own private security.
Well, I cannot comment on that.
Yeah. And
that's a whole lot of complications there to do something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm a Prime Minister, where the statutes of our country gives me the right for our police force to protect me, and if such protection is not coming, I have to take care of myself and my family. We cannot have an individual who is blatantly, at every moment he feels that he has more power than the police force, does things blatantly, and no action is taken seriously. You talk about Trinidad, Jamaica, but they cannot do that in
everything. Kid gloves, always, that type of attitude about things, and this teaches people that they can get off with things, and little by little, the situation gets worse and worse and worse until you swamped and don't know how to rectify the situation, because it has now become so insidious, so pervasive, so all over the place that you don't know which way to turn.
I agree with you. But I'm in support with the email you read. What that person is saying is true. The Labour Party is showing it has more power in opposition than the government. The government has to take a foothold on that and stop it once and for all. Stop it once and for all. If people continue to do this, people are beginning to be threatened. They'll be afraid. And that is what they're trying. I've said that so many times. They want to intimidate people that they don't come out and vote. They know they cannot pass to Boucher. They have nowhere to go. So that's what they're...
Hold on, let me tell you something. I will be voting. Okay?
I will be voting.
All right.
And I will be encouraging other people, as I do on your program, I do on Champagne, and all the programs that is on that station. When I call, I make my contribution. I encourage people to go and vote. I encourage the prayers warriors to keep on praying for our country so we could go forward. I'm not afraid of these threats, but I hope the police is taking note, and the human rights activists are taking note of the things that are happening in our country, the threats to law-abiding citizens, the threats that are done across our country to people who they believe are supporting the UWP. One of these days, they will come against the wrong person in UWP, and when that person takes the action, I hope the police will not be fast to go and pick them up. Okay, have a pleasant...
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Folks, not condoning any violence or anything of the sort. We have to operate within the laws of St. Lucia, and that applies to everyone. However, we cannot sit by like sheep and allow all manner of lawlessness to... I'll take one more call. I'll take this one. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yeah. One thing I have to say quickly, Robert, it looked like last night the PM was on the air with some of his ministers.
Mm-hmm.
It was a brilliant show.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody called and talked about it. Mm-hmm. You're letting the other side distract you with a little, something as if
the day is still young, caller. The day is still young.
Beg your pardon?
The day is still young.
Yes, but I understand that. But we don't start a morning, overlooking the brilliant thing that happened last night, and start with as if, the Prime Minister don't have a brain. He don't know about what's going on. He doesn't understand what's going on. And I know that, man. You see,
caller, I understand exactly what you're saying. But you see, what has happened here this morning from the get-go is the people of St. Lucia expressing their serious concerns, because all the good that you do, you can talk about the good, and it's not that people don't know about the good that's being done, and it's not that many St. Lucians were watching the Flambeau Forum last night, but all that you do, and that is usually the problem, that the recklessness, the unlawful, the lawless behavior, and the threats to this country can undo all the good work that you're doing.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But that guy with that little pan beating there, I would not have no space for him this morning. I would not give him that whole airways to make him believe. That's why in the United States.
But you see that's the problem. We continue to look at these things in isolation as little incidents, as a little thing on the side. And these are all part of a bigger orchestration that will one day just overwhelm you. We have to nip it in the bud. And the fact is, we have seen that this incident there is not an isolated incident. It is in concert with other incidents in St. Lucia, which are designed to encourage further behavior like that. And that is the threat in St. Lucia. I'll give you one more minute, caller.
Yeah, I'd like to make a quick point. Right? To me, right? If something so happened, I don't believe the commissioner is off. He don't know what he's doing. Like a caller say, as if the prime minister, as if the way he's handling things, letting things go astray. Are you telling me these two gentlemen doesn't know what they're doing? Is that what the country is trying to tell me? We have better experts out there than them? You see, the point I'm saying to you, sometimes, like a caller before, we're giving them people too many airwave time to get us out of track. And this is what I believe we're supposed to tighten on. Okay? Because I don't believe the guy who go by the prime minister home, he knows the amount of, if you say he's a police or he understands, he knows the amount of fire that is around this area there. Right? Okay? So the prime minister is not going to, and I'm sure that prime minister probably make a big joke out of that shit. You see what I'm saying to you? But we cannot just come and lose our focus on what is happening in this country, the brilliant work the prime minister is doing, and talk about, because in one more thing I want to say, even in the United States, when you see now, when a gunman go to a school and shoot, they refuse to put the name of that man because to them they're looking for publicity, they're looking for things like this. And I believe those people are just putting us off track. You see, because there is a police force, and I think they know what they're doing, and I am not going to push them under the bus as if the commissioner until people start saying wrong things. And that's what the Labour Party wants to hear. That you start criticizing your own, not the number one man, which is the policeman, the commissioner. We cannot afford to let them people causing us to do these things. Do not put us off track. Let's talk about the positive things that the prime minister is doing and the government is doing. Because we're giving them too much time on the air.
Tomorrow morning, call. I want you to call and we can discuss the Flubber Forum from last night.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thanks for calling. Thanks for keeping it real. Okay, folks, that's it. I got to get out of here this morning. I have a lot of things to do today. Hope you have a wonderful day. Sorry, I got lots of messages. So many people were trying to call in, but they couldn't. I'm sure this discussion has just started today. It's just begun. And we'll hear lots more and lots of different places about this incident, as well as what has happened in St. Lucia as a whole. The people of St. Lucia are very smart. They're very perceptive. And I'm sure they will see everything for what they're worth. I'm sure they will. Well, that's it for now, folks. Thank you very much for joining me on another morning edition of Keeping It Real. 15 minutes after 8 in the morning. And what's happening in St. Lucia with the weather? Currently in Castries, it is 82 degrees, going up to a high today of 86 degrees. Minimal chance of rain during the morning. In the afternoon, 40% chance of rain about 4 o'clock. Windy this morning about 11 into the lunchtime hour. And going up to a high today of 86. Showers here and there localized into the evening, and then it all clears up. 82 degrees in Castries, going up to a high today of 86 with light showers off and on. Hope you have a great day, folks. Thank you once again for joining me. I'm Norbert Williams. Bye-bye.
are officially handing over the children's playground at the Lage Early Childhood Center. That's a project that was done jointly between the parliamentary representative, myself, and the Rains Forest Skyride. Based on discussions we had, agreed to provide funding to buy bits and pieces as it pertains to the playground. I had to get resources to fence the area, to level up the area, to improve the drainage.
I am indeed very excited today for what Mr. Ezekiel Joseph has done for this community, for the school, the Lage Preschool, namely. I'm very grateful, and I can say a proud thank you to him for what he has done for the kids, especially in this community, Lage community.
My MP said that we would have a new wellness center. Here we are. It's almost finished.
My community said we needed a new wing to our secondary school. And my MP said yes.
My sister said she needed help to find a job, so my MP created a job fair.
Our athlete said we needed better sporting facilities.
A new early childhood development center.
My neighbors said. My sister said.
The children said.
Community said.
Roads and a new park. And my MP said.
Yes.
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 Of course.
Nous toutes, c'est yon famille en mi coup de nord. And nous continuons pour faire progrès avec Antigale.
We are here in Talisman on that new project in which I am so happy about it. Although it's the first time I came here, but I look it looks beautiful and very vital for Babono. I see that Babono and Talisman elevated to a higher level, and we are so happy about it. And the people of Talisman should be happy also, and also Babono and environs, because it is a project which is very vital, very important, that people who do not have